Hello, Nicholas. Are we live? How you doing?
I think we are. I am doing very well, thank you. How about yourself?
I am banged the fuck up. I am
Mm,
banged up. It was
sorry.
uh, it was a weekend. Our good friend Christopher Scheim is getting married, so we had a bachelor party, and oh boy,
Yeah, so I've heard. So I've heard. My goodness.
oh boy, it was funny because me, Max, Scheim, and Scheim's best man Corey, we all drove up in the same car. So we had this plan. We'll get up there. We wanted to go to Duck Fat because we knew getting 15 people into Duck Fat was gonna be impossible. It was impossible for four of us to get in at Duck Fat. Thankfully, there was a bar next door, East Enders, and so Scheim had been talking about it on the radio, and someone had said, "Oh, you should check out this bar, East Enders." Well, we got there, and like the owner was like, I heard the Shine Bachelor Party was gonna be in Portland. They may come here, and so he
Nice.
was really great, right? And by that point we had already had a couple of drinks, and like he said something, oh, how about shots? And there was just sort of like this lukewarm response, and then just quietly, one of these guys who I had never met before, he just hear, hey, did we just turn down free shots? Because I didn't sign up for that kind of weekend if we're turning down free shots.
Hmm.
And we all rip shots, and then away we went, and that night ended up with mai tais and sake bombs and
Wow.
all sorts of things. So I'm glad my voice is back because I wouldn't have been able to have done this yesterday.
Yeah.
Not to
I
timestamp
honestly, when
things.
you sent me the picture, when you told me some of the stuff, I was like, "What are you doing, dude?" I mean, I know like when we had fun at mine, and I was like,
You
I
know what
was,
I you know what I appreciate about your bachelor party is that like we had that beautiful house. Now, granted, where we stayed, there wasn't like it's not like Portland's is a bustling city, but like we just had a great time at the house. I was able to manage things a little bit better that way. You know what I mean? Like you can manage. I'll tell you, this it was just bar after bar after bar after bar after bar. And that does something that a 44-year-old doc could handle 20 years ago.
yeah,
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please drink responsibly.
yeah.
TLDR Studios proudly presents the greatest, the soberest, the most kick ass podcasting team in the world. He is a wonderful comic book writer, Nick Friar. I am a recovering, still getting the poison out of my body, Dr. Joe, and together we are the TLDR Comic Book Club. Baby, how's it going, Nicholas?
I am doing great. Other than I just continually run into this is like what week 3 or 4 of us using Riverside, and there's a lot of pros to Riverside versus Streamyard, which we were before. But it is just continuing to frustrate the fuck out of me. I think from a hey, like you are kind of used to doing tech stuff, but you're not a fucking genius. Like standpoint, I would recommend StreamYard to people. There are certain bugs with StreamYard that popped up over the years that Riverside is better about, but oh my goodness, this is giving me a headache. So if you watch us on YouTube Live and you're not seeing us there, you're catching us in audio form or watching us on Instagram Live, I apologize for that. We're going to be posting this on YouTube as a regular episode because just whatever. Anyways, enough about our tech issues because we are here and that is all that matters. But we are doing what's new this week, and as Joe alluded to, over on Blue Sky, which you can follow us there, as well as Instagram and on YouTube and on TikTok. We are doing what's new, which usually means we got something else going on. And normally we would be doing a solicit because we're right at the start of April. First new comic book day is April 1st. We will do a solicit because there are still 4 more new comic book days in April, but we're not including April Fool's Day, because we just finished up doing another Friarside Chat with a one Matthew Rosenberg for his upcoming Image Comics title, along with his takeover over on Spawn and King Spawn. And there's a little bit more that we talked about in there as well. We honestly could have talked to Matt. Honestly, Joe, we always say we could have talked for hours and hours. Like, we were talking baseball with him before the show, and we were just going off on all this other stuff in the middle of it with him during the interview. I feel like that could have easily been like a 3-hour podcast without fucking breaking a sweat. It's not the first time we've talked to him, but just I think I enjoy my time talking with Matthew Rosenberg.
He's fantastic. He's got a great sense of humor, and yeah, we could have shared stories about why we were both wearing Giants hats.
Yep.
His story much funnier than mine. Mine was out of practicality. His was, because he was gonna, prove to someone that he was a far better Ken Griffey Jr. baseball player than his buddy. Yeah, great prank. Great prank. But no, it was Matthew Rosenberg's a lot of fun, and we didn't talk a ton of Spawn. Basically, I think you asked a question, and then he just gave this. He gave such a great answer to that if you've fallen off Spawn a little bit, if you have fallen off King Spawn a little bit, you're gonna want to get back on. He's creating great jumping on points. I know I've fallen off a bit, so I'm looking forward to that because he's a hell of a writer, and just his pitches for both those titles sounded fantastic. So yeah. Run to the comic book store. Get those books back on your pull list.
I'm very excited for him to take over on both of those. And there was some really good insight. You're right. We only did ask one question, but there was a lot of insight that he had to share. And I know he's been talking about it elsewhere. Like, one thing we try and do quite a bit is, okay, other people are talking to creators. Great. There are some things we're still going to want to hit on with them that are related to answers they've given elsewhere, because our listeners may not listen to everything that's going on everywhere else, but we also are going to be dealing with people who, like, I'm a Matthew Rosenberg fan, I want to hear when he does interviews. We try and get those things and then be like, okay, let's build off of that, let's acknowledge the things that he's already talked about, and then see if we can get more. And I think that was a great example of, like, hey, we know this is already out there, like, you can say a little bit, but, like, give us a little bit more. And I think Matt did that. And I think it's going to be very beneficial for people who have been reading Spawn, who are interested in his Spawn stuff, who haven't been reading Spawn and, maybe want to get back in or just never checked it out. Like, well, why the fuck should I read either one of these titles? Because, again, he's doing Spawn and King Spawn. But that's also just a part of the conversation. We spent a lot of time talking about If Destruction Be Our Lot, and I'll let you know right now, the final order cutoff for that first issue is April 13th. So if you want that added to your pull list to ensure you get that first issue, call your local comic shop, or when you go in on New Comic Book Day, let them know, hey, I want this added to my pull list to make sure you get that first issue. And as we said in the interview, and you guys will hear it, first issues at Image are moving a lot these days. So you want to make sure you get that secured if you can. We have gotten a chance to check out the first issue. We had a lot of fun with it. It's definitely got a darkness to it. It's definitely got comedy to it, and a lot in between, including a robotic or animatronic, whatever, Abraham Lincoln, which is at the center of everything. And
Breakfast spot. Don't sleep on breakfast spot.
Breakfast spot, yes, definitely the Marcus Smart of the book, if you will. But we got a lot to get to this week. We obviously have a lot of books coming out. There's a few major titles. Actually, I think one that stands head and shoulders above the rest, Joe. So why don't you take us through what's out this week from Marvel?
All right. So for New Comic Book Day, for April Fool's Day, Comic Book Day, from Marvel Comics, we have X-Men issue 28. We have Venom issue 256. Try that again. We have Venom issue 256. Nova Centurion issue 6. All new Spider-Gwen Go Spider issue 9. Logan Black, White, and Blood issue 4. Doctor Strange issue 5. Wonder Man issue 1. Alien King Killer issue 1. And then there's two books we want to discuss this week. I think this one, Nicholas, being the one that we've all been looking for with all the buzz, and that is, Daredevil, issue 1, written by Stephanie Phillips with art by Lee Garbett. And you know how I feel about, this title. And we were talking about this before, and I think, part of me just sort of holds, Daredevil to an unfair standard because of Zdarsky's run. And I'll tell you, I've been in a real Daredevil place lately because I watched all the season. I binged all. I couldn't sleep, so I binged all of season 1 of Born Again the other night, and then I haven't watched episode 2 yet. I will be watching it each week, even though I hate it because I just want to watch it all at once. Um, but enjoying season 2, so I've been like in this really great Daredevil headspace. So Stephanie Phillips did an absolutely remarkable job. If you haven't been reading Daredevil, and you're like, oh, I really like Stephanie Phillips as a writer. I want to check this out. You're going to love it, right? Even if you're not as familiar, you know, with the previous Daredevil stuff. This is a great jumping on point for new Daredevil fans. If you're reading it strictly because of Stephanie Phillips, you are not going to be disappointed. The way this issue starts, the way this issue ends is just like artistically too. Lee Garbett absolutely crushes it.
Oh yeah.
And the imagery you get in the first page, the imagery you get sort of in the last page, with this, there's a particular character. You just go, holy cow, right? And then we get introduced to a new character somewhere there in between, and when we see Matt Murdock in a role we've never seen him before, which I thought was great, right? And that's the trick with these characters, these legacy characters. How does one tell a story that feels new and fresh? And I think so far Stephanie is hitting the ground running with this, and I love sort of what she's setting up. I feel like there's a couple of different paths we can go on here, which I love, and I love trying to figure that out. So what a great team. And I've been looking forward to this book. I love Stephanie Phillips as a writer, and I think she's going to crush it. And I think initially I was holding the bar a little too high, which is unfair, because this is Stephanie. She's telling her story, and we need to appreciate that for what it is. And she absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I agree. I thought honestly from the first page a tone was set, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm in. And it does not happen all the time like that. And as much as I love a good first page, I'm not like live and die with a book by the first page, but when you get one like that, which I'll tell you right now, if you guys have seen the preview pages, that is not circulating around right now. We can't talk about what it is, but it's not circulating around. Once you see that, I'm sure there are going to be a ton of people that feel similar to us. But yeah, you mentioned like the position that Matt is in right now, and we're talking about Matt Murdock specifically, not Daredevil. This is in the preview pages. He is a law professor. I am all in on this. I'm very excited to see how this is going to unfold. Seeing him in a new role that he has not taken on, and I just think there's a lot of opportunity with this character in that realm.
Yeah, excellent stuff. Enjoyed it immensely.
Now, another issue one. So we had 4 issue ones from Marvel this week. And as much as we said there's a lot of books to get to, for us, it wasn't like the heaviest week for books in terms of the ones that we are typically trying to check out, ones that we like. But there were a lot of first issues that did come out. I did check out Wonder Man issue 1. I liked that. That was by Jerry Duggan. And I was like, oh, I'm going to check it out. Wonder Man season 2 got picked up for second season. Let's check out this first issue. And I enjoyed that one. I liked it. I was deciding between that and this other title I'm going to talk about now in terms of breaking them down. But I was like, okay, I liked that one. This one really fucking surprised me because this is a character who I don't read much, and that's Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel Dark Past issue 1 specifically. This is written by Paul Jenkins with art by Lucas Wernick, whose work is just so fucking clean, alongside Ron Fernandez's colors, and somehow like we get a lot of bright moments in this, but we also have darker ones, and the two of them just pair so well throughout this issue and like capturing the emotion of that moment every time. So I really appreciated that. But this is a book, like I was saying, like on a heavier week for us, I'm gonna be like, I'm not checking out this. Like, it's Captain Marvel. Like, I don't read Captain Marvel stuff. I really feel like if I had not seen that, I would have been missing out. With Carol Danvers, obviously we all know her in some capacity, but with this, it's a first issue. Spend some time giving readers insight into her current situation while also looking into some details with her past. But all of that's very relevant because of what's going on with this story. And while it makes things more accessible for a new reader, people who haven't checked out Captain Marvel in a while or just never checked her stories out in general, I love that it's important for this because now we've got a mystery on our hands. And I didn't expect that. Like, obviously in the title, it's like Dark Past. Okay, we're going to be looking back a little bit. But now that there's a mystery and how that kind of potentially ties into some of her other stuff that's gone on before, I think this is going to really enrich the character for people who have not checked her out before, and even for people who are very familiar with her. So I was really surprised by Captain Marvel Dark Past, and I think that if you're like, yeah, I might have a lighter pull list this week as well, what's the number one to check out? Captain Marvel Dark Past. That would be one of the ones I would tell you to consider this week.
Love that. Love that.
All right, from DC, we have Batman issue 8, Batman Superman World's Finest issue 50. JAS, what is JAS? I can't recall what JAS is.
Where is that?
It's in your notes. I don't know. Batman Static Beyond issue
Maybe
5.
JSA?
Okay. JSA would Justice Society of America issue 18 would make more sense.
Yep.
Adventures of Superman Book of L issue 7, and then we got Mad About DC issue 1, Poison Ivy issue 43, and then a pair of books that we wanted to talk about. Again, another issue 1 that in most weeks I would have slept on, and actually I may have liked this one even more than Captain Marvel. But there's an issue 18 that you wanted to dig into.
Yes. So this is a book we talk about a lot, or a series that we talk about a lot. And I know sometimes, we talk about too much. Nope, no such thing. You like a book, you fucking like a book.
Yep.
Absolute Superman 18, Jason Aaron, Rafa Sandoval. This is my favorite issue of this series yet.
Ooh, okay. You're saying that quite a bit recently, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, it's just Jason's just kicked it up a notch, right? He's operating at 11 right now. And we're coming off a really, really hot arc, and we're really starting to see Cal, we're really starting to see Superman take ownership of who he is, right? And we're really starting to see him become Superman. But it's not the Superman that we're used to, right? There is there's an attitude, right? So there's still that essence of Superman wanting to do the right thing, for the right reasons, right? To help the little guy, right? Like the very essence of Superman is who he is, but he isn't this aw shucks yokel who's also, masquerading as a newspaper reporter that we've always seen either, right? So we're seeing a guy who's still figuring it out, a hero who's still figuring it out, but he's got a little juice in his plums, and he's gonna let you know when he's ticked off. He's gonna get a little stern, and we see that a little bit here. Like he really asserts himself, and I love Sandoval's art in this particular issue. We've been talking about that a lot too lately. The artwork's really just been ramping up. But I think what this issue stands out the most is weaved in through it. We start to get a little bit of an origin story here, and then the reveal that you get at the end of the issue will knock your bloody socks off. And to me, that is like Sandoval's like best artistic moment of the series so far. Just this oversized image that we get. There's so much in there. It is just like chocked full of just badassness, kick-assness. It's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. I really enjoyed the issue, and like, there's I think if you read the previous one, like there's a new character who's entering the mix, and once again, we're getting another reimagined origin story, as we would expect in the Absolute Universe. And I can't say this enough. Like they continue to be impressive, and I don't know if we can say that with all of them, but a lot of them have been impressive. And this is another one of those that I was really stunned by, because the energy is still the same, but there are differences. And there's like a key detail from Not from an energy standpoint. I can't say from a plot. I guess kind of plot-ish standpoint. But it just there's a key detail, and you'll know it when you see it. That I was just like, I really like that. That was well
Mm-hmm.
done, and I cannot wait to. Not only is it does it fit so well within the larger universe, I'm just like, where is this gonna take things? It has so much potential for this character, for this arc, and beyond. So I absolute Superman issue 18 was another banger from Jason Aaron and company.
Yeah.
On the note of Superman, though, we got Bizarro Year None Issue 1, written by Eric Carrasco and Kevin Smith. Yes, that Kevin Smith, with art by Nick Pitara. And once again, busier week. I'm probably not checking out a Bizarro book. I think I'd probably check out Captain Marvel before a Bizarro book. But I read this, and we get a heavy focus on Jimmy Olsen and Perry White, and it's all journalistic type stuff, and it's very, as much as it's like set around Bizarro's origin story, it's like, which would be, you would think more so in the past. It's very much updated for present times. So all of this has my attention. Jimmy Olsen and Perry White, normally that's not going to do enough for me. Like, there's been Jimmy Olsen books, and I don't check those out, but I got this. It's like it's digging in and actually taking like a harsh look at journalism and like the newspaper industry and everything else around it. And I was like, wow. I'm reading it. I'm like, why the fuck am I enjoying what Jimmy Olsen is doing in this? Like, that's not my cup of tea generally ever. But I really liked it, and his relationship with Perry White, I think you'd actually enjoy that quite a bit, Joe, if you gave this one a look. But I did not expect to enjoy them. I did not expect to enjoy this issue. All around, this was written really, really well. But my favorite character coming out of this first issue is Jimmy. And when this gets like, there's a big turn in this issue, going like into the next series, the next chapter. I'm just like, I have no idea where this is going to go. I feel like it was a really full first issue too. So Bizarro Year None. I don't call out like surprise book of the week or anything too often, but that's how I feel about this issue for sure.
Well, that's why we do the show. You get surprised sometimes,
Yes, a hundred
and
percent.
yeah, because that's not one I would have ever chosen to read either.
No,
But
absolutely
yeah,
not. Why would you? Like,
yeah,
it's just not like why are we looking for that? Like, it's just, I don't mean any disrespect to like the writers and the artists and the people who like said, oh, let's do this book, but I would not have normally. But because it was a light week, I was like, yeah, what the fuck, and I was rewarded.
you loving Jimmy Olsen is akin to me loving Damian Wayne. I think
I,
you know.
I think it's actually a pretty fair call. I think that's a pretty fair call.
Wild, right? You just never in a million years. And here
Hmm.
you go. It's fucking awesome. All right, from Image into Skybound, we have The Walking Dead Deluxe. I forgot to write the number there, but I'm sure it's in the hundreds. The Sacrificers, issue 20. Ghost Machine, the official guidebook, issue 1. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. I had to check 3 times that this wasn't a typo. It is not. The Silent Missions, Baroness, issue 1. And then we have a one-shot. Kilroy is here, issue 1. And then a book, Nicholas, you would like to discuss.
Yeah, real quick on the Sacrificers note, issue 20, penultimate issue. Didn't realize that. Very, very heavy, setting up for a massive fucking ending. I cannot wait to see how this gets concluded.
So 20 is the penultimate issue?
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
okay, okay.
Yes. So you better catch up for the finale because we're going to want to
Yeah.
dig into that. I'm
Oh,
sure.
100%.
Yeah, and this one was as just like all the other ones have been. Like this was a really, really good issue. But again, heavy as fuck. All right, the first issue that I want to talk about from Image this week is written by Derek Kirk Kim, who is as much of a friend of the show as you can be without having been on the show, because we have interviewed him and put up an interview on Instagram before, so he is the closest to being that. But we have to amend that situation at some point in the not too distant future. But he is the writer on this, and while he's done the art on previous works, Jacob Perez is the artist on Royals issue 1, and you've got these two brothers who have a telepathic connection, and it's just them. Like, it's not like a Jean Grey type situation and Charles Xavier and all that stuff. It is just these two brothers, and they can talk to each other telepathically. And as far as I know, there's nobody else that can do that. And they have come up with this grift that is just, it's absolutely perfect. Like you have this ability. It's like, okay, in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck are you gonna do with that? As I'm reading this in the issue without like kind of knowing what's going on going in, I'm like, what are you fucking gonna do with this? Like, it's interesting, but like, what is it? And once I get there, it's like, oh wow, that is just hats off to Derek because I really enjoyed that approach. I really enjoyed that idea. I won't say what it is, so that way you guys can enjoy it going in. But also, we learn about that grift and everything, and then what's going on with these characters in their corner of the world that they're in because this is set in Korea. But we also get to spend a deal of time knowing these two brothers, Paul and Castor, and between the grift and then the brotherly relationship, which I'm generally going to be intrigued by, and then just the individuals themselves of Paul and Castor. This series has a lot of potential to go in a few different directions and take its time. So I am very excited coming out of Royals issue 1.
All righty. I'll take us through these next few here, Nicholas. From Boom Studios, we have Briar, Knight's Terror, issue 4. From A Dark Horse, we have Gru, The Prophecy, issue 1. Magic the Gathering, Untold Stories, Jace, issue 1. Minor Threats, The Last Devil Alive, issue 4. Avatar, The Gap Year, Tipping Point, issue 6. And Touched by a Demon. How about Torched by a Demon, issue 3? It is late, Nicholas. It is far later than we've ever recorded before. And then from Mad Cave Studios, we have Astro Quantum issue 3. We have a tremendous issue of Speed Racer.
So good.
Yes. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent.
Great issue for Speed and Pops. Yep, 100%.
Oh, great issue for Pops.
Oh, yeah.
Great issue for Pops.
You must have fucking loved that scene.
Let's go, Pops.
Yeah.
Let's go, Pops. You know, this old bastards. We still got it sometimes.
I read it, and when I read that, I was like, Joe's going to love this part. And it was
I fist pumped. I fist pumped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Let's go, Pops.
Nice.
But, yeah. Excellent issue. If you're reading that, great. Also check out Racer X. That's also been fantastic. But the book I want to discuss was funny because I think we talked about this last week when Honor and Curse came out, and I said, "Oh yeah, we talked. Oh yeah, I think it's Rich Duick who's taking over for Exit City, and I can't wait for that to come back." Well, because we hadn't had a solicit up ready yet, we weren't aware. Exit City, issue 5, Rich Duick with art by Tom Derenick. I was so pumped when I saw this in the folder to read, to discuss this week. This is, part of the Underworld universe that Mark London has created. Up until this point, he had been the writer in all these books, and now he is, handed Exit City off to Rich. And I got to tell you, Rich absolutely crushed this issue. Now, I've read them all. Exit City, Hour of the Wolf, Revolution 9, and loved them all for different reasons. Exit City, the first 4 issues, it's world building. You're getting to know these characters. You're getting a lot of the backstory. There was some good crime stuff. It was definitely part of a larger story. This first issue, like this, what feels like is going to be an absolutely tremendous arc here, because right away we're digging in, with the partners. You don't have to set them up anymore. They're already together. They're already, they work well with each other. And we get a grisly ass crime that this story is going to revolve around. So there's a great mystery to be had right off the rip. And Tom Derenick's art, and he does this panel, Nicholas, towards the end of the issue that was very reminiscent of some stuff we saw Rennie do in Fashion School Serial Killer. And it was haunting. It was really well done. So we're getting a little bit more horror in this. Typically the horror was a little bit more an Hour of the Wolf. We're getting a little of that horror element now in Exit City here. We're setting up what seems to be a great crime, a great whodunit. So fans of the Underworld universe, you're going to love it. You can read Exit City issue 5 and you won't be lost. You're gonna want to go back and just reread because you want to know who the main characters are and such and how they got there. But it's not imperative. You could read this if you hadn't read the other stuff and be like, "Well, that was a really good comic. I really enjoyed that. I can't wait to see where it goes." So make sure you pick that up. This book was fucking excellent.
I'm glad you enjoyed the return because I know how highly you thought of that that first volume. I'll take us through the rest of these to round us out. So from IDW, we got Godzilla TMNT issue 5, Casey Jones issue 6, which I think this is going. I feel like this was originally supposed to be a mini-series. I don't think it was an ongoing. So I don't know if issue 6 is the final issue of the mini-series or if we're getting more, but I hope we are because, Alex has been doing a nice job writing Casey. Godzilla issue 9. From Titan, we got The Savage Sword of Conan issue 13 and Dead Samurai issue 6. From Ignition, we got Deluge issue 5, Arcadia issue 4, and Tyler Rake and Extraction story. From Dynamite, we got The Shiver of Christmastown issue 4, Gargoyles Darkwing Duck issue 4, The Lion King issue 3, and Disney Villains Ursula issue 2. And I will say, Joe, I read the first issue of this. I did not read the second issue because but I did want to check out. I do want to check out the Ursula one too. But I checked out the first issue of Disney Villains Gaston, and Greg Pak wrote Gaston quite funny. Like it's just all bluster and no fucking follow through at all with that character.
So great little thing from the Gaston actually came up in the bachelor party. It was me. It was me, Mac, and Corey. Were on our way to pick up Shime, and I was busting Mac's balls about I bought it's a bachelor party weekend. We're gonna get a little nuts, so I bought Chick-fil-A breakfast sandwiches for everyone. And Mac was like, "Oh no, I want to make sure I have some room for poutine at Duck Fat," and I had avocado and eggs, for breakfast. I was like, "You've changed, man." Right? You go to Ireland for 1 week, you changed, right? And he's like, "Oh, I've been smashing eggs. I had like 5 eggs." And Child's buddy goes, "Who the fuck are you, Gaston? You expecting to lift some barges this weekend?"
Oh my god, that's amazing.
But also, other side note, in regards to IDW's Casey Jones issue 6, that is the finale.
That is. Dang it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. It's been so good.
Excited to check that out nonetheless. From Oni, we got Cruel Universe issue 9, Murder Drones issue 2, and the book that you are reading, Joe, The Autumn Kingdom, The Wraithbound Queen issue 3. That is the second volume of the Autumn Kingdom series over at Oni Press. And that is going to do it for us this week. Obviously, with What's New, we usually have interviews that are dropping. We will have that out on the Monday following What's New. So that will be, I believe, quick math, that's the 8th. So like the 6th, I think that Matthew Rosenberg Friarside Chat will be dropping. But next week, we'll also be doing a solicit. So make sure you keep your peepers popped. If you are watching us on Instagram Live or on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to one of our audio channels. That's the only place you're going to find our Friarside Chats, which are our conversations with creators across the industry. Forgot to mention that earlier because of all our tech issues. Hopefully none of those this week, but next week, but who the fuck knows? Until next week, Joe.
I hope the Red Sox get a fucking win. God damn it.